And meanwhile, a new bill introduced in the United States Congress recommends targeted sanctions on individuals and groups accused of violating religious freedom in Nigeria. The proposal lists the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria and Miyetti Allah Kautahore as entities to be sanctioned, with measures including visa restrictions and asset freezes. The bill also identifies Fulani-based militias operating in Benue and Plateau State as entities of particular concern under U.S. international religious freedom laws. These groups are placed alongside previously listed non-state actors such as Boko Haram and ISIS affiliates. The legislation coincides with increasing pressure from U.S. lawmakers who argue that Christian communities in Nigeria face systematic attacks. Nigerian authorities have consistently denied such claims, stressing that insecurity is driven by multiple factors. Now let's bring in Todimu Ige, who's a lawyer, for a conversation on this, and he joins us from Lagos. Mr. Todimu, good evening and thank you for joining us. Can you tell us what the key objectives, behind the U.S. military's reported plans for potential airstrikes in Nigeria, and how do these align with international laws?
Well, according to the UN Charter, it is unlawful for any nation to forcefully enter into another nation, because Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and it is improper and inappropriate for the U.S. to forcefully enter into Nigeria. Now, on what grounds can the U.S. enter into Nigeria? Article 2, subsection 4 of the UN Charter says that U.S. can do that on the grounds of self-defense, or if there's a direct attack by Nigeria on its nation, and that is not the situation here at the moment. So it is unlawful, and it is actually improper for the U.S. to declare that they will enter Nigeria and then forcefully carry out military action.
Right. So as you mentioned now, there are no threats to U.S. directly. If not, then they had the right to, come into the country forcefully. But if the U.S. moves forward with any form of military action, what could this mean for the stability of Nigeria's sovereignty and the fact that both countries have been allies for years?
Well, if the U.S. decides to carry on their attacks on Nigeria, it is, of course, 100% is going to affect the relationship that Nigeria has enjoyed with the U.S. over the years. And of course, Nigeria can also seek relief using the International Court of Justice, because it is wrong and unlawful. And when the law is very clear that when there's a breach, there is always a remedy. So if the U.S. attempts to invade Nigeria on the grounds of trying to end the insurgency and banditry, then Nigeria can approach the UN or the International Court to intervene and put an end to the actions of the United States.
Right, and the Pentagon has indicated that limited strikes may not fully sort this or resolve the insurgency. And in your view, how effective could this proposed military option be, in achieving meaningful long-term security results?
Well, from previous experience, the Nigerian government has, in some ways, been engaging the militants with military actions and all that. So a one-time approach will not solve this problem. The best approach is for the U.S. government to try to partner with the Nigerian government to see how these matters can be put to rest. And of course, you will see that the government has also said that what it needs from the U.S. is equipment. And you remember, I think in previous years, Nigeria has approached the United States for military support, which they declined. I think specifically when we requested for some fighter jets and helicopters to assist in getting into the forest, and they declined at that time. The U.S. now need to reconsider its stance on how it's going to support Nigeria in putting an end to this banditry, to this insurgents and this terrorist action. It is so, as opposed to pushing the Nigerian government aside and being bullish in their action, it is a better approach to partner with the Nigerian government. If they feel that the Nigerian government is not cooperative, they can get the UN involved and also ECOWAS in order to see that the Nigerian government is actually serious about stemming and putting an end to banditry in the country.
Right. Todimu Ige, thank you so much for joining us and giving us, a view from, the lawyer side of it. And since the situation is ongoing, we'll keep following up and see how this unravels. Thank you so much.